How is it that Ron DeSantis came to be seen as a credible candidate for the office of President of the United States? What was that trajectory? What qualifications does he have to be a national leader? Let's look at his career. He was elected to Congress, and then very narrowly, he won an election to Florida governor, running against somebody who was found passed out, pictured half naked, smoking crack a few months after the election. So with that, Ron DeSantis became qualified, according to the American national news media, because of his office, to hold the most powerful office in the world, to be the commander-in-chief of the most powerful military, to be the commander-in-chief of the world's most powerful nuclear arsenal, and leader, president of the mightiest republic in human history. That Ron DeSantis obviously lacks the talent, the grace, the judgment for the position doesn't matter. All that matters is that he cleared the admissions process. He's not so different than a high school kid whose life is made at the age of 17 because they did well in high school and popped high on the standardized tests. Does he have a lick of common sense? Judging by the fights he's picked as governor of Florida, the war he's waged with Disney, the answer is no. Chris Christie described Ron DeSantis as one of the two worst politicians he's ever seen, the other being Marco Rubio. The simple truth is, Ron DeSantis is a strange cat, and America doesn't elect strange cats to be president of the United States. This country will elect an orange, narcissistic demagogue, but not a strange cat like DeSantis. I mean, first off, why does Ron DeSantis, a 52-year-old male, walk around with everything he owns having his name stamped on it? It's bizarre. Trump was right about one thing. Maybe all the presidential candidates should just go back to wearing a blue suit again, because the outfits outside of the blue suit aren't cutting it, to say the least. Now, Ron DeSantis has a problem connecting. And I'm going to show as lethal a question that's ever been asked in modern presidential politics. It's disguised as a friendly question from a Fox sycophant who in an instant turns into a Fox News assassin, gunning for Ron DeSantis' weak spot. Let's watch.
There's something about you that's not connecting for whatever reason, not connecting with the voter, whether or not it be personality. Donald Trump says it's about loyalty. Francis Suarez says it's about your relationships. And it's not about those individuals so much as I'm curious in the analysis of Ron DeSantis of why not yet is connecting.
Well, I think, did you just see the news today about the record fundraising haul we've had? Nobody's been able to match that in the history of modern presidential politics. So we've got a huge amount of support to be able to take the case to the people. We really haven't started that yet. We're in the process of building out a great organization, and I think we're going to be on the ground in all these early states. It is a 3 yards in a cloud of dust type situation. That's what we're going to be doing.
Right.
But look, at the end of the day, nobody has stood up for hardworking Americans more than I have over these last 5 years and delivered the level of results that I have.
It's brutal, isn't it? You can see his panic blinking. You can see Ron DeSantis holding it together, barely, trying to figure out what he's going to say. And the answer reveals his character, his childish petulance. What he basically responds is saying, but I got the most money. Ron DeSantis could have all of the money in the world, but it won't help his failing presidential campaign, which has already collapsed. Now, in the old days, it was said that presidential campaigns ended when they ran out of money. In this new age, it's really hard for them to run out of money, but they still ultimately will and do, though just much later in the cycle. The simple truth about Ron DeSantis is he had a moment. After his landslide re-election, Ron DeSantis had a straight line to the Republican nomination. His team and him just didn't understand enough about politics, the history of presidential campaigns. They didn't understand the moment and they missed it. Ron DeSantis jumped through an open window, but by the time he got there, it was closed and he smashed through it. Ron DeSantis's polling collapse has been epic. He has dropped like a rock since he got into the race with his disastrous Twitter appearances. And there's a truth about American politics. Dropped rocks don't bounce. Incredibly, Ron DeSantis named his super PAC Never Back Down, which is a really bad name and a really bad way to live life. But incredibly, his super PAC did exactly that. Steve Cortez is one of its leaders. Steve Cortez was a MAGA lieutenant who defected from the Trump team to the DeSantis team at that brief shining moment when DeSantis' stock was high. The bottom line is Ron DeSantis is a meager talent running on division, running on cruelty, running on meanness, running against the woke mind virus, whatever that is. He's running to be a Fox television host, or maybe more accurately, a Newsmax or OAN one. Every day, Ron DeSantis gets up and he tries to find the smallest, dumbest, most banal issue to twist to antagonize as many people as possible. His campaign is rudderless. It's visionless. And more than that, it's disconnected from the real life experience of most every person in the United States of America. What Ron DeSantis is doing is trying to stoke and antagonize a cold civil war with the belief that it will produce a DeSantis presidency. It's madness. He has no chance of being the Republican nominee because he is among the very smallest people in the country. Think about it. Ron DeSantis was given a great privilege. He became governor of Florida. And what did he do? He antagonized the state's largest employer to such a degree, picked such an unnecessary fight, that they've canceled projects worth hundreds of millions of dollars and thousands of jobs. What Ron DeSantis has offered the people of Florida is nonstop chaos, nonstop conflict. And the rest of the country is looking at it and saying, no thanks. Soon the Republican presidential debates will begin. The voting starts in 188 days. Ron DeSantis will fade quickly on that debate stage because his campaign has no rationale other than his ambition. He's milquetoast. He's Diet Trump. And nobody's in the mood for Diet Trump. The Trump supporters don't want it. The Trump opponents don't want it. Nobody does. Ron DeSantis is losing this election because he's talentless. He lacks conviction, principle, and an ability to communicate with normal people. He clearly doesn't like them. In the end, politics is a people business, not a data business. Ron DeSantis' spokesperson issued an incredible quote. It deserves pondering because it speaks to the faded rationale and hopes of the DeSantis campaign. What he said is, nobody should panic. If you're on Team DeSantis, everything will be okay. Because just wait until the MAGA Republican voters find out that Donald Trump didn't do much of what he promised in his first term. Can you imagine? They really believe that? What is it that the DeSantis people think is going to happen when the Trump people find out that Donald Trump is full of shit? It's pretty incredible, 7 years on, that that's your takeaway. That's your assessment of American politics. Donald Trump has been accused of 37 acts of breaching the nation's most important, most closely guarded secrets, and he's gone up in the polls. Donald Trump is the Republican frontrunner. Donald Trump is the leader of an autocratic cult of personality. And Donald Trump appears to be getting stronger, not weaker. The Biden campaign, which on its best days seems rather lackluster, has made repeatedly clear they want Donald Trump. They want Donald Trump to be the Republican nominee because they feel they can easily beat him. Sound familiar? Frankly, I find it terrifying. And anybody who believes that Donald Trump can't be elected president of the United States, again, is a fool. He can be, and he might be. His coalition is a minority coalition in this country. But if you add indifference and apathy to it, it might just well be the majority coalition. Ron DeSantis won't be the Republican nominee, but Ron DeSantis has helped break the Republican Party forever. He helped end conservatism, and he helped launch a new American fascism, the politics of punishment, the politics of control, the politics of retribution, or what Ron DeSantis stands for. It's just that his strange personality is leading the voters to reject him. Even a Fox News host can see that clearly.